Alright, what's up everybody? I know it's been a little while since the last boot review, but I've gotten kind of busy and was able to get around to it. But the last video I did, if you watched, you know it was the Double Comfort Lacer Justin's, the Roper boots, or the Wellington pull-ons. And then I said the next boot review video that I made was going to be about the Justin Double Comfort Lacers. And here they are. These are the tried and true, everybody's, classic Justin favorite. These are still relatively new. I was able to find them. I'm trying to remember where I found these at. I've had them for a while, and I just wear them sparingly to try to, preserve them. Because once they wear out, how are you supposed to replace them? So I get these out from time to time, and I wear them. Mainly on warm, dry days, sunny days in the summer, kind of like it is today. But we'll go ahead and get into this video, get into the review here. So far, these have been super comfortable, just like they always have been. You look at the underside here, and they've got that classic Justin Double Comfort outsole, just like the Roper boots have. Just the updated design where they've taken that pad that used to be there, and they've just made it one flat piece. I guess they made it that way to make it easier to mold the sole. I don't really know, but I do know the old ones that had the actual raised pad on this forefoot area, they were more comfortable than the ones like now where it's just one flat piece. These are still pretty comfortable, but since they've done away with that raised pad like they used to have, the comfort has went down just a little bit, and it ain't been back since. Since they went to that flat one solid flat piece. But they're still a super comfortable boot nonetheless. They're just a classic, and you get all the classic features they always had. That really big heel counter piece, and that short vamp main seam right there. The vamp to upper main seam. And you always get those classic Justin hex bolt shaped eyelets, plus your speed hooks up the top there with the hex bolt shaped eyelet at the top, so you can do your logger's knot if you could fit it. They still kept the good old tried and true laces. I know these laces I've seen over the years. People's had mixed thoughts on these laces. I've had some people say that these laces are really great, and they're really strong and durable, and they last a long time. And I've seen a lot of people with these laces say that, they've got them, and within a week or two, they've gotten a piece of the internal core thread come through, and it's like from there on, the lace just kind of falls apart once you get that white ball of internal core thread coming through. But I've had Justin Lacers in the past that did do that, but the lace still held together and held up for a long time afterwards. The only problem I find with this lace, to me, is once they do break, you can't hardly find them anywhere. I don't even think Justin... well, they probably make them for the boots, but they don't make... I don't think they make them for, like, replacements. Like factory replacement laces. They just make enough of them to put them on boots. And then once they break on your boots, then you got to replace them with something else, some kind of aftermarket lace. But right out of the box, you know, brand new, these laces are really, they're kind of stiff. They feel kind of stiff, and they're kind of thick and durable. And they kind of take a little bit of time to break in. You kind of have to break the laces in on these. But, of course, the leather on these, it's now gone down to just, you get that, you know, that rough out, that nubuck suede type leather on them now. They don't make them in all the different leathers that they used to. I mean, I've seen them in black. They used to make them in like a oil tan, smooth side leather, like a dark brown, chocolate brown color. I've seen them in a smooth side, you know, kind of like a tobacco colored leather back in the day. And now they're just reduced. They're about all reduced down to just this nubuck suede type leather, kind of similar to like a Timberland boot or something. I think this is a better leather than the Timberlands, just because, you know, it's Justin. They're not going to put a very inferior leather on this boot, even though it's not all the different leather choices that we used to have with them. But as far as around my area, if I can find them, they're always this same type of nubuck leather. You might be able to do some hunting around on the internet, and you might be able to find a new old stock pair somewhere that's in a different leather. You might be able to find somebody that has a pair that they don't fit, and they're just selling them, and they're a different type of different leathers. But yeah, but these were, oh gosh, 30 years or better. They've been, you know, people's go-to boots for 30 years. Steel toes. This is the soft toe version, by the way. I forgot to mention that when I first started talking, but yeah, these are the soft toe version. And with these, the lace up Justin lacers, the soft toe seems to be about the only thing available with the lace ups. The steel toe, I mean, this is going off of my area and what I can find in my area. If I can find them, you know, for sale. It seems to be the Wellington Roper boots. You can get them in steel toe. And these lace ups, you can only find them in soft toe now. They don't have them in steel toe anymore that I can find, which is pretty disheartening. I mean, it's kind of gone the wayside of, you kind of know what's happening. Once a company like Justin starts moving to downsize a particular model of boot and make it, you know, just in a couple different models and like two different models, and only one of the models they decide to make in a steel toe, and the other model they just do strictly soft toe. And I think they're only, you know, 8-inch tall boots now. Like, these are the 8-inch. I don't even think they do the 6 inches anymore. I know a lot of people like the 6 inch as well, but I'm an 8-inch boot guy, so that kind of helps. You know, that kind of goes in my favor. I like 8 inches tall anyways, but it is kind of disheartening that when you get to a point, when a company gets to a point where they start downsizing, a lot of people's favorite models of boots, and pretty soon it's like they're going to be gone, and it's going to be a completely discontinued model of boot. And it just about is now. Like, these are actually pretty hard to find. I know there for a long time when I was a kid, the local shoe and boot store that I used to go to as a kid with my dad, it was called Kipling Shoe Company. They're located in Milton, West Virginia, but going there as a kid, I used to see these on the rack everywhere in there. Like, they had every leather possibility. They had steel toe, they had soft toe, they had 6-inch, they had 8-inch, they had, the slip-on, pull-ons, waterproof, unlined. These are the unlined, if you can see down in there, but these are the unlined version, which makes them a good summertime boot. I don't want to wear. They're easier to break in, and since I don't want to wear them, to the point of wearing them out anyways, it kind of helps me to, make sure I only wear them in the summertime sparingly, so they last. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, it's, at the end of the day, it's a consumable product. I mean, that's what boots and work boots are. They're made to be worn and worn out, and at the end of their life cycle, you can try to get them resold with something else. I doubt you'd be able to get this boot resold from Justin. I don't even think Justin offers a reselling program that I can remember. But most of the time, I mean, back when these were so popular and so readily available, it wasn't nothing to, wear these out and then just buy another pair, even though they, it's an American-made, handcrafted boot. But, people would wear these out. They'd wear them. I've seen people wearing these until the sole was down to just about a fingertip width of sole left before you started wearing into the welt. And I've even seen people wear the tips down to where they was into the welt, or the midsole at least anyways. And they just keep on wearing them until there was nothing left. They just refused to give them up because they were just so comfortable and they were so well priced. I mean, these back in the day, I mean, even now they're still, I think I picked these up for $150. And to have an American-made classic Justin Lacer boot at $150, like, even today, that seems unfathomable. But there's a lot of Chinese-made boots that are at the same price point. And if you got $150 and your choices are a China-made boot, or you can get, theoretically you could get this boot if it was sitting on the shelf beside it. I would take that $150 and I would go with this Justin Lacer all day, every day, over the China-made boot. Of course, that's, given the availability possibilities, which doesn't really happen anymore these days. But I remember back in the 90s when I was a kid, I'd see these at Kipling's or something. They'd have these on the shelf. They were going for, I think, around $110 or $120 back in the 90s, which, back then, obviously that would be a lot of money back in the 90s. That would be considered a top tier level priced boot. $110, $120 back in the 90s, whereas now we've got some American-made boots now that are basically the same build, an unlined American-made boot that's Now they're sitting at the $280 to $300 range. So yeah, the prices on them has definitely went up, but I know for a lot of years, these were about 110, 120 bucks. I think they were 110 when I first found out about them, and then one day they went up to 120. But they stayed at $120 for, gosh, probably 10, 20 years. And then now they finally went up to 150 bucks, and I think a lot of that is just due to the downsizing of the model. You know, the company's phasing the model out. They officially replaced these Justin Lacer models. I think Justin decided to go with the J-Max, which I did a video of prior, but the J-Max was supposed to be Justin's official replacement model for the Double Comfort series. But I know for a fact, if Justin were to bring this model back in full force and have it alongside the Justin J-Max, I mean, it would be pretty tough competition. I mean, don't get me wrong, the J-Max is a really comfortable boot. But they don't do the J-Max in this more pointed traditional lacer style toe. I mean, they're all round toe. So, you know, for like me, where I wear Wrangler cowboy cut jeans all the time, a boot like this really fits those jeans quite well, because it's a Western styled boot. You know, it kind of looks like a cowboy boot, but it's a work boot. But it's just it's got that cowboy boot toe shape and familiarity. And these are, you know, made wide. You know, a lot of people think this pointed toe is going to be really, you know, tight on their foot, but really it's not bad. It's. I mean, I got wide feet, and these are D width. I mean, these are a 10 double E. Excuse me, these are a 10 double E. I got these in a 10 double E. I forgot. I looked at them in there, but I would say I could wear a D width in these as well, just as easy. I mean, these are double E just because that's what was available. You know, when I found them, there wasn't very many sizes available, and they had a 10 double E, and I could wear them. Most of the time I wear a 9.5, but I mean, you're talking a 1/16 of an inch, so 9.5, 10, there's not much difference. 10.5, or if you go up a size, it kind of tends to let you wear a narrower size because you're going up. But I think for comfort and fit wise, you need to try to stay closer to your true size. These are not exactly my true size, but they're close enough that I can wear them and they're not causing any issues. Like I said, I'm normally a 10.5, or I'm normally a 9.5. So, you know, 9.5 to 10, you're going up a 1/16 of an inch. So it's not a huge deal. But yeah, like I said, these are, you know, tried and true. You got that classic, you know, Western style. Some people calls them a false tongue. Justin calls them a kiltie. And growing up, you know, around Justin boots a lot, that's what I've kind of come to know to call them, as a kiltie. So I just call them a kiltie. But these have the nice, you know, Justin kilties in them, just like they always have. They're a tried and true icon. You know, and it's really sad to see them getting phased out and fizzling out, because it's a pain to see them go, and one day they're going to be completely gone. So You know, it's a shame to kill such a popular, tried and true model boot for a lot of people for a long time. But companies have to evolve, and they have to come out with new products to try to catch the eyes and you know, gain the sales of newer and newer people as generations come along. You know, the older generation that wore these, you know, they're getting, you know, to the age of retirement where they're no longer needing to wear a work boot, and the younger generation's coming in, and the younger generation doesn't seem to favor, you know, boots like this. They tend to favor something that looks more like an athletic shoe nowadays. I never could understand that. Like, you know, the younger generation coming in, and I get it, they grew up wearing tennis shoes all their life, you know, as a kid. Well, I did too, until my foot stopped growing and I could actually afford to buy work boots and wear work boots all the time, because I had such a hard time buying, you know, finding tennis shoes that fit my feet. And I found that work boots were made a lot more forgiving than tennis shoes, and I could easily buy work boots that fit. But so that's a lot of the route that I went. You know, once I got to where my foot stopped growing and I can afford to actually have, or I could actually buy quality made boots that I wasn't going to outgrow in 6 months and then have to buy another pair. I could actually buy a quality boot and wear it until it wears out. Never have to worry about buying a different size boot ever again. So, I mean, that's kind of what I did. And then the new generation, they want basically a Nike. If they could do it, which I don't think they'll ever do it, but if this new generation, if they could design a boot, I guarantee you all they would do is take like a Nike Air Jordan tennis shoe and put a composite toe cap in the end of it, so it's still light, but it still technically is a safety toe shoe at that point, and they would call that a work shoe. And I think they would be sadly mistaken once they tried it out, and the first time they had something happen, you know, that shoe would tear up instantly, and they'd be like, well, we need to make it out of something more durable than jersey knit and vulcanized foam rubber and whatnot. So, which Nike Air Jordan tennis shoes, yeah, they're again a very popular shoe with a lot of people, and especially with, you know, Michael Jordan. You know, he's a very famous person, and he designed it. So it's a quality made basketball shoe. Don't get me wrong, but that's what its intended purpose is. You know, it's like a work boot. You know, you buy a work boot, and its intended purpose is to be strong and durable and last a long time while keeping you protected on the job site. You know, it can only do so much. You know, it can't completely replace stupidity, but it will at least keep your feet, you know, pretty well protected and last on a job site, whereas a Nike Air Jordan would offer a lot of the same things, except it would be more performance affiliated for wearing while playing basketball. So every shoe has its purpose. You know, every type of shoe, it's purpose built. But yeah, I think that's about it on these. I mean, they're a really simply made boot. There's not a whole lot to it other than it's comfortable and it's tried and true, and it's kind of sad to see them going away slowly but surely. As you can see, you know, on this boot, of course, it's in basically brand new condition. You know, all the stitching's in still perfect shape. There's not any wear to the outsole. The outsole is like still perfect. Usually on this outsole, these little this little checkerboard, you know, these little checkerboard nibs right here in the center of your foot, those usually wear down first, and they get kind of smooth before the rest of it starts wearing. So, but on these, you can kind of tell these are still perfect. You know, they're not showing any signs of wear whatsoever. And on the J-Maxes, if you watched the J-Max video, I talked about the center part of this checkerboard design. And on the J-Maxes, they've put a second density there. Instead of having the polyurethane on the whole outsole, this checkerboard center on the J-Max, it's a little bit differently designed, but it's still kind of the same checkerboard pattern. And they've added a second density to that part right there, and they've turned that into a slip resistant, grippier rubber, so it grips a lot more, services better. Which I've never had a problem with these, you know, single density polyurethane outsoles on these. They've always done good for me, but I can kind of see in some applications, like if you were to walk across ice or something, I guess it could get kind of slick. But the laces are in perfect shape. You know, the little Justin tag on the side here, it's in perfect shape. It's not been, you know, over time this little tag will kind of fray apart and fall apart. I've seen some people where that tag is frayed apart so much it's been reduced down to like one little strand of black that's just hanging left, and it's all frayed up. So this little tag, it's in perfect shape. The welt stitching's in perfect shape. The welt's in perfect shape. I mean, this is a hardly worn boot, and it's intentional. You know, it's kind of like a collector's item at this point, where, you know, you don't want to overuse a collected item to, you know, wear it out or break it or tear it up. You want to collect it and keep it, and that's kind of what this boot here is turned into. It's a collector's item because it's a practically extinct model of boot by this point. So the other boot here, you know, we've got the same thing going on. We've got perfect stitching, perfect welt stitching. Nothing's broken down. Nothing's wore out. The Justin tag on the side's in perfect shape. The outsole is in perfect shape with a little bit of leftover grass residue from walking across the grass, but like I said, I don't wear these boots very much at all. This is a kind of a collector's item at this point for this model boot. So I try to, you know, hang on to them and make them last as long as possible. Laces on this other boot here, you know, it's the same deal going on. They're in perfect mint condition, more or less. I go out today. I actually might wear these boots today because I know it's been real dry and it's sunny. It's perfect, you know, weather. I might actually wear these boots today just to, you know, take them for a little stroll, because I haven't worn these in a long time, just because I'm trying to save them. But it seems like today's a good, perfect day to wear this boot, you know, out on the town for a day, and enjoy them from time to time. Don't get too crazy. Don't go kicking, you know, shovels and kicking concrete and stuff and tearing them up. They're just these are more or less, to me, these are like a out on the town leisurely stroll type of boot. I know it's crazy to say that about a work boot. You know, you think a work boot, you're supposed to work in them and do stuff, but I would say that would, you know, that is a true statement. They are, at the end of the day, they are work boots. You know, they're not meant to be a fashion statement. which I don't wear these to be a fashion statement. I wear these to wear them. Just because they're work boots, and that's about the only thing that fits my feet good. But because they're soft toe, you know, I can't really do the most heavy duty work that I do in these boots because they're soft toe. So at the end of the day, they kind of turn into a casual work, which would be, I mean, I could probably mow the grass, you know, while on a riding mower or something in them. I could do that. That's not going to do anything. But I'm not going to be able to go and, you know, run chainsaws and whatnot in them because they're soft toe. You know, I don't want to cut my foot off. I've never had anything happen that would lead to that, and I'm really safe when I run saws because I was raised properly on how to run chainsaws. I know what I'm doing, but even all the knowledge in the world and all the safe practices you do can't prevent everything. You might cut into a piece of wood. You know, you can't see what's inside that wood, so you don't know. When you cut into it, you don't know what's in there until you've cut all the way through it. You know, you cut into a piece of wood, you might hit an old nail that was in there 50 years ago that the trees growed over. You can't see. And you hit a nail, and it's going to cause that chainsaw to kick back, and it can get you. That's why, you know, you have to expect everything whenever you're trying to do stuff like that. But of course, these have the nice pull loop on the back, which a lot of people cut those off, but I never cut them off mine because I actually use it, and it's never been a problem for me. Some people don't like it because their pant, the bottom of their pant opening catches on it, and they have to constantly, you know, move their pants over it every time they put their boots on. But if you wear boot cut jeans, typically you don't have that issue. You know, a boot cut jean is a wider opening at the bottom for a boot cut. It's made to fit over boots. That's the whole point. So if you wear boot cut jeans with your boots, guess what? They go right over top of that pull loop, and you very rarely ever have a problem. But that's neither here or there. I mean, that's just my opinions on that. I know a lot of people don't. You know, they like to wear what they like to wear. You know, wear what you want to wear. That's just how that's my opinion on it. You know, if you wear what you wear. But I typically wear Wrangler cowboy cut jeans, and they're always boot cut because they're made for, you know, cowboys and working cowboys, and they're all the time wearing cowboy boots and stuff, so they're boot cut. Makes sense. But I think that's going to do it on these Justins. I mean, like I say, they're very basic constructed boots, other than they're comfortable. These do have a fiberglass shank in them. Before I end the video, I forgot to mention that, but it's just like all the Justin Lacer models. They all have fiberglass shanks in them, and I think they do that for weight savings. But I would prefer a steel shank. I mean, it is a little bit heavier, but it's a steel shank. It's not going to be that much heavier. It's just a metal strip, you know, it's maybe that long and like that wide. So it's probably going to weigh maybe a couple ounces more than a fiberglass shank, but a steel shank is a lot more durable. You never have to worry about them breaking in half on you like a fiberglass shank. I've actually heard of times where somebody's done a lot of shovel work and they've actually cracked and broke their shank in two, that fiberglass shank, and it lost the support out of the whole boot. and it was pretty terrible. So if you do a lot of shovel work, or you do a lot of pushing on stuff with this part of your boot, definitely go for a boot with a steel shank in it. Don't use a fiberglass shank for that, because you will break it in half, and the support of your boot is gone. And what in the hell was in that boot? I don't know. Well, it's a good thing I did that before I put them on, because that would have been a very, very weird feeling underfoot. But like I said, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this videos. Sorry this video is kind of long. I know it's kind of long, and you know, I talk a lot in these videos, but how do you review something without talking? So, I mean, that's how you review stuff. But yeah, don't forget to definitely like, comment, and subscribe. You know, smash that like button. You know, keep me going. Support me. It don't cost you nothing, and it helps me and my channel out quite a lot. And this might be the last Justin boot review that I do, because I think this is the last pair of Justins I have. So the next video will probably be my actual cowboy boots that I have. I'll review those. I've got, you know, double H's. I've got some Rockin' Leathers from D&D Outfitters. I've got I got Red Wing Peso cowboy boots. Those are another tried and true boot that a lot of people loves. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to get these videos out a little bit quicker than what I did for this one, just because, I mean, I got kind of busy, but I think finally things are slowing down. You know, fall time's going to be getting here, and the grass is going to stop growing, and things are going to slow down outside, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of interruptions unless I got to go haul something for somebody or something. So stay tuned. The cowboy boot videos are going to be coming up after this one. We'll see you in the next one. Later.